Hello, 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 everyone. Sorry about the delay. That was on me. That was on me. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the show. Hi, everybody in the chat. I see Colin and in the North Bank in there. Ashley D will be moderator today. I see John in there. I don't know. John was supposed to join us. I don't know if he's still joining us, but let me know, John. I sent you a Twitter message in case you are going to be hanging out with us. Otherwise, here's my guest I have right now. Mube, how are you doing?
I'm obey. I'm on time. They can't tell me I'm late today. I'm on time. I was the first one here today. I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you as always. I'm on the show, so let's get it.
All right, perfect, perfect. So, well, hopefully we'll have some more people joining us in a few minutes. Otherwise, let's you know what? Let's go ahead and get started. Whew. So, last night, or I guess for me it would be yesterday, but Arsenal playing Wolverhampton for the second time in like 2 weeks. Um, Big game since they played us. They've looked really good. They've scored what 4 goals to the one I think that we scored since, but they looked really good. And coming into the match, it was going to be a tough one for us. At least it seemed it would be, and it turned out to be that way. So first thoughts, Mube, on the game. How did you feel going into it, and we'll go from there.
I always thought it was going to be a tough game. Over the years, since they've been back up, we really haven't dominated them. They've been coming to the Emirates, picking up points. I think last season they won and beat us 2-1, I think, at the Emirates, and beat us away from home too. So we really don't have good luck with them. But that win at the Molyneux was a really big one. Being down to 10 men and getting that 1-0 victory. All the stuff that went on in the aftermath about the celebration just make this game build up even more bigger than it's supposed to. At the end of the day, it's Wolverhampton and Arsenal. It should never be a rivalry between the two teams, but for some reason we shouldn't have celebrated the win, and it made the game even a more bigger spectacle than it's supposed to be. So I know it was going to be a tough game. Wolves they definitely are a good side this year. You see the teams that they beat. They draw with Chelsea. They beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. They beat Tottenham, even though everybody seems to beat Tottenham. They get battered everywhere they go. But they've been beating some good teams, and they've been on a run of four away games without losing. So they came to the Emirates with some confidence, and we had to dig in. I really don't think you can't really pick how the play and say this player played bad for the full 90 minutes. I just think in the first half, um, we looked a little bit caged in, but Wolves is a good defensive team. One of the best records in the league other than Manchester City, and they showed that in the first half. We just looked disorganized. We looked like the old Arsenal with the back four. I don't get. I was watching the game and Gabriel seemed to be following Jimenez all around the field, which it was kind of puzzling to me because I haven't seen us do that all season, but it was kind of causing some mix up in the back four because he was following him to the right hand side also. And that's where the first goal came from because he's crossing over Ben White, going everywhere that Jimenez went, he was following him. So they fixed that up in the second half. In second half, we just dominated the game. Like I said, and we always come on here and say that if we had a decent striker or someone that could put the ball in the back of the net, I think we would have been comfortable going in halftime and win this game comfortably. We should have won this game 4 or 5 goals, but it wasn't to be. We hit 2-1 victory last minute. I'm not going to complain about it at all.
Uh, no, definitely. We'll take the 3 points at the end of the day, but it was a big challenge for us to go through that. And what we have John joining us. Sorry about that, John. I thought I sent you the details, but I must have sent it to the wrong social network. So hopefully, welcome to the show, John. How are you doing?
No worries. Good evening, fellas. Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
No, we can hear you. You're perfect. You're perfect.
Sweet, sweet. No worries. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Carry
right.
on,
Sorry, but
fellas, and I'll jump in on what you're saying.
uh, all right. Perfect. Let me get to the chats real quick and say hi to everybody, and then we'll move on. All right. So I see Colin Young was in there. Yes, that was all on me. I'm sorry. I had a time set and then I changed up on it, and so that was why we were running a little bit late. So you can blame me. I'm sorry about that. Okay. You got in the
Uber,
North Bank.
Uber.
There you are. Yes, everybody should be happy today. I mean, I think we're all in a good mood. Definitely all in a good mood. Yeah. Let's see what he's. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. I guess we'll find out. Got Ashley D is in there moderating for us. Come on, you Gunners. Yes, yes. All right. So hello there. We've got hello. And Ashley with his intro saying hi to everyone. Yes, we should have couple more people joining. I did send out the link a little bit late, so hopefully everybody, we get everybody in and we'll be good to go. All right, so welcome to the show, Del Boy. So first up, we were just talking about the game, John. Big game against Wolves. Not only for the fact that we just beat them, but also the way they've been playing coming into this match is probably going to be a big challenge for us. So, kind of, what were your initial thoughts on the game as we were about to, embark on that challenge?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be always thought it was going to be a really tight game. I was confident we'd beat them because of the way we've been playing, but I didn't know where the goals were going to come from. Then, obviously, when we went 1-0 down, it was like looking a bit serious, weren't it? I was like, oh no, here we go again. And I was just hoping and praying for a draw. I was thinking at that time, a draw's going to be good, man. The draw's going to be good. But they pulled it out of the bag, top draw, you know what I mean? You can't have no complaints about that performance. That was top draw stuff, But could do with making it a bit more easier.
For sure, yeah. Easy wins. I don't think we know what that is right now.
Nah, definitely.
All right. So Paul, welcome to the show. Sorry I got the link out to you a little bit late, but
yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so
I
kind
had
of
it on mute, and I all I could see was a dodgy looking Jurgen Klopp. He looked a little bit Jurgen Klopp just after a really, really bad weekend. But yeah, nice seeing you guys, and yeah, pleased that we got the win. And
yeah. So what are your thoughts on the game coming in?
Well, yeah, it was going to be a real tricky game. We knew that. We started off very slowly. I thought we were a bit nervy. I think the importance of the game showed on the group that was there, and it obviously within 10 minutes we had the goal disallowed, and then they got the goal. Then it was just. Yeah, that was it. It was done. There was no pattern to the game, and by then we were playing catch up, and yeah, games changed, and they kind of shut up shop a little bit and made it really really tricky for us with their pressing as well. But as the game grew on, we got a bit more of a hold of the game and created chances again. I think it was a stat 50 odd shots in two games now. Still only 4 goals, mine, but yeah, we can improve on that. But as I say, we got chances in, but again, lots of blocks and last ditch tackling, and that's it. But the main thing was they battled until the end and got the job done, and that's all that matters. 3 points. I'd have taken a boring 1-0. Yeah. But we'll take that. We'll
1-0, yeah. I always feel like we're going to give a goal up, and the way I had it kind of the way I thought coming into this game is that it was going to be a 2-1 game where we kind of jump out really quickly, get the 2 goals, and maybe they get one late, and it turned out to be the exact opposite. The exact opposite.
We had that little quick start, didn't we? We had the quick start, and then we think Saka got the ball across, didn't he, or something, and it kind of just it didn't go to anyone. And then we had a foul, but then after that it was just then suddenly a little breakaway, and then they got the disallowed goal, and then the demons of our defence kind of started again, didn't they? So
yes.
Yeah, so it was again a typical Arsenal goal we conceded, and something where I was saying last week that we'd kind of eradicate from our game really, with those kind of like defensive kind of like mistakes and lapses where we just give a goal away, and it's bad enough without giving goals away, and that's what happened, and yeah, it was silly. I hope Ramsdale maybe again he's rushed out. maybe a more of a calmer demeanour about him at that early stage may have read it a bit better. But again, to play it blind was a mistake in itself. But even then, you could then label Ben White as, again, where was the reaction? I know we had the ball, but then where was the reaction to suddenly, oh, if we're in trouble, what do I do? But he was like literally dawdling, and then as soon as the mistake had happened, it was gone.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess one thing that I noticed in this game, and you kind of alluded to it, is as you go through the names of the players surrounding that situation with the first goal going in. For me, anyways, I think they're all young. They're all some young players in terms of Premier League experience, and it showed yesterday in that first. It showed in that period when the goal went in. And I guess I'm just going to go backwards this way, back to John. But as far as when that first goal went in, what was you thinking at that point?
Is that me you're talking to?
Yeah,
Yes,
John.
when that first goal went in, just disaster. Here we go again. You know what I mean? Can we? How hard we got to make it for ourselves again? It was, it was a poor goal to give him, weren't it? Give it straight to him, but these things happen. The best positive thing out of that team, they got together. Do you know what I mean? They stuck together through thick and thin, and they could have bottled it. In games past, we've sort of not turned up. We've put our heads down and let these sort of things get to us. But they well deserved that. They deserved that win in my eyes. You know what I mean? That they all stuck together as a proper unit, man for man, and they never wavered. They got. Well, they just about got that win, but they deserved it in my eyes. You know what I mean? There's no way, and it was brilliant to see them at the end. The way they celebrated, you know what I mean? That was fantastic. The way they were celebrating, especially was it Neves that was moaning about them. He was complaining we celebrated too hard. Well, we didn't celebrate hard enough in that game. You know what I mean? I think the keeper went up to him, didn't he, and slapped him on the head at the end of the game. Yeah, you can see, man, how much that means to them. And Lacazette, all through the game, he was trying to get the crowd going, He was getting them going, weren't he? Roaring them on. You were there, weren't you, Paul? So you'd have seen it. But watching it on the telly, it was really good to watch. Nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? Nail-biting stuff. I see Alex look suicidal when he was watching it with 1-0 down. But we got the result we deserve, lads. That's what I think.
Definitely. And for those, yes, Alex wasn't going to be able to join us tonight, so I'm hosting. I'm filling in, just trying to do my best. So he's got family comes first, and
exactly.
we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about the goal, but also it looks like Alex has a message for Mube. The babysitter scored the winner. So. I mean, it's a babysitter, but for me, that's also a sign of some true leadership that we
Hey,
in our squad right now.
listen. He owe us that. But before we're not gonna talk about it. Let's get to the goal that we conceded first. So we're not gonna argue Alex about it. You've been waiting 2 months to bring that up, and finally he has to score for 10 games. I don't want to hear nothing about that. You've been waiting since December to bring that line up. But anyway, the goal that we conceded, it's kind of hard to I see what my guy's saying about the Ben White reaction and Ramsdale rushing out the goal, but if you were watching the game, no one expected him to pass the ball back. He wasn't even turned that way. Everyone was even watching the game as a fan. You're looking for him to play that ball down the line with his right. Like that was like literally the only option. When he kicked the ball back, it was like a blind pass. Everyone was caught flat-footed that was behind him. Yeah. The good thing about it is, even though they were caught flat-footed, Ramsdale didn't bring down the player. We've seen time and time again, with our goalkeepers, we shoot ourselves in the foot, bring down the player. Next thing you know, it's a red card, it's a penalty, and we're playing the rest of the game with 10 men. So he could have brought the player down, but he didn't. He let him win around him, scored a goal, and it was early in the game, and they trusted one another to get back into the game. So I'm not gonna put too much blame on Ramsdale. I don't think there's really much he could have done about it. Gabriel got to hold his hands up and You should never make that kind of blind pass, without looking across. If you should never play the ball across the back four anyway without looking, and that's on him. But like you said, the guys stuck together. You could see right after that goal, there was no one. I remember back in the day, with a certain Mustafi was it our back four. If Mustafi had did that, he would have blamed Ramsdale for that. He would have sit there and blame him. But we saw that every time with Mustafi, man. It used to piss me off. He do the stupidest thing, and he sit there and find somebody to blame. It was good to see that, Gabriel has held his hands up, and Ramsdale went and have a quick chat with him, and that was it. After that, it was. But like I said, defensively, Arteta make a lot of adjustment in the game. But we started off, like I said, with Gabriel following Jimenez around the field, and that's how he ended up on that side of the field in the first place, because he was following him everywhere, and he was switching over Ben White just to stay with Jimenez. That's how he got on that right-hand side of the field in the first place. I didn't like that. I haven't saw us play like that, and we was pretty open because there was so much gap. Jimenez was bringing him out, and there was so much gap between Ben White and Karen Tierney. They were just getting in that gap time and time again because Gabriel was not there. He was getting pulled out of position by Jimenez because he was following him around the field before the game first started. And once we made that adjustment, they started passing him off. You watch the rest of the game, they just pass him off. He go to the right, Ben White pick him up. He come to the left, Gabriel pick him up. And after that, we pretty much shut them out. They didn't really have a chance until the end of the game when they had that one that we scored and let them straight into the chance. After we got to 1-1, we let them right back in with a chance to take the lead again. But thank God Gabriel did his job there and got that block in, goal saving block. He gave a goal away, but he really did save us at that point because that shot was on target. There's no way Ramsdale was going to save that. So you got to give them credit, give the guys credit for that. But we make, like I said, Arteta make a lot of adjustments, and once we get onto the goal in the second half, we talk more about that. But that defensive adjustment, starting the game, I really don't want us to do that again because you just don't want man marking in the Premier League. Unless not even Van Dijk don't do that. You don't really see a player following a player around the whole game. You pass him off to the next guy, and that keeps you in position and keep the team a little bit more stable for me.
Sure. I was also wondering that myself. I was like, why is he that far out? But I guess now that if you say that, and that's kind of what you saw, because I wasn't necessarily looking at Gabriel for the game, but if that sounds about right, then that he was tracking. I did hear somebody mention something to that degree that Gabriel was man marking a player the whole time, and that's why things were a little big flux. But yeah, he did redeem himself. Yeah, this is kind of answering that question here from Tide Gunnosaurus as to why, what was going on there. But the plan seemed to work in terms of Jimenez not getting too much, but he still got some nice looks either way. So, maybe in the long term, it's not a good goal to go. I got a couple more other comments here we'll just go through. From Colin Young. Okay, concentrate, fellas. ESR's last two goals were individual brilliance from creativity and driving in to have a cracking goal rather than the rigid ideal of attacking the corner flag. Yeah, I think that for me, that's one of the things that we haven't seen yet. Right? We haven't seen like what is an Arteta Arsenal goal, like a build-up play from the back in a long time. We've seen, like you said, some plays where out of the blue we get these runs, but in typical fashion where you can say, we do this consistently over and over and over again over every game that we play. We just don't have that. We don't have that trait going or that style of play that we want to see all the time. At least for me, I don't see that. See, the first goal he scored was pulled off the field early, and none of us could figure out the sub. Yeah. Yeah. What is else we got here? Oh, this is going through the two goals that he had. I got lucky Spur here. Big weekend for English football. Yes, support Ukraine. Yeah, hopefully, we can limit can have a have a peaceful end to that as quickly as possible, as far as I'm concerned. There. Yeah, it was a huge mistake. So Ben didn't expect that to happen. Ramsdale was also taken by surprise. They say hindsight is 2020, and I think it was a good thing because it shows how good we are. That's Rock Riva. Yeah, I like Mube said, I don't think anybody in the stadium in Arsenal Nation thought a pass was coming at that point in the game. Nobody. So surprised everyone, and it would have been just as easy to kick it out of bounds and reset. Discipline for creativity. This is Colin Young again. Another comment here. All right. And this is so. Here we go. So for me, at that point, I'm just gonna. I had a little bit of background noise. I was muting some of the guys back here, so bear with me. So after that goal, like I said, we did settle things down. Not much coming from them, not much coming from us. I mean, we seemed like we did have a lot of shots on goal, but not much in the way of shots on target. I believe, if I recall, our first shot on target was late in the second half. I think most of the time we were just far off. I mean, we had opportunities in front of goal, but nothing that required the goalkeeper to make a stop. I don't know if you guys have anything much to say from that 10-minute period on until about the 70th minute when the subs came in. I'll let you talk, Paul, if you want to. Does anybody want to talk about that part? Because it was pretty, for me, lackluster. Not much going on for the 60 minutes until we had our first sub. But I'll let you go, Paul, if you want to.
Maybe we should let Alex talk it out. Ask him what Lacazette did during that time.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I think it was just more of the same, wasn't it? It was just we kind of got into that type where we didn't feel like we had a lot of time on the ball. They were still pestering us. They were still hounding us down, and there was just no flow to it because of what it was. And you had Martinho, you had Neves in there, and really kind of getting stuck in. And they were able to turn us quickly as well. So there were numerous times where they'd kind of put balls over into their channels to run onto. So yeah, it was a bit of a tricky time, I think, certainly in midfield. I just thought we were getting a little bit overrun and getting a bit caught out in between their passing. And yeah, that Podence was a real pain in the backside as well. He's really direct in his running and he's got great pace on him as well. And over the 2 games, he had some really good moments. So yeah, I just think there was just a lack of. You couldn't say the energy was always there, and it was this that kind of cutting edge. As soon as we get into that penalty area, or in around that 5-yard area around the penalty area, where we didn't have the sharpness and that little guile and that kind of almost a bit of luck to kind of having the ball bouncing. You saw a couple of times with the ball coming into Lacazette and not being able to control it when Saka knocked it through, and little things like that. But they're the small margins, and yeah, you'll either get a bounce for you or against you, and then there's a goal there, or certainly a possibility of getting a goal. But yeah, are we going to the subs now?
You ready to move on, John or Mube? Do you guys have anything else you want to say about that? What I would call the lull, the inner lull, basically, of the game where you're just waiting for us to get to the other end of it.
Yeah, okay. What I was going to say, a bit like what Paul was saying, it didn't look like nothing was going to happen for us. You know what I mean? I actually thought that was going to bring off Lacazette. I'm so glad they kept him on. The normal plan is bring off Lacazette, isn't it? But they left him on. But we never looked in trouble. We just never looked like we weren't going to score a goal. But I think what has helped us out is them 2 games where we've been playing with 10 men. I think this has kind of settled the team. Like, we can work together and get through this sort of thing. So they didn't seem like they gave up their belief. They left it to very, very late. But, yeah, there weren't really a lot of highlights until the subs come on, to be honest, was there? Do you know what I mean? It was like a relief. When, let's face it, most of the time when we've seen Pepe and Eddie come on, we're sort of going, oh, no, here we go. But I've got to hold my hat. Them boys got us out of trouble. Do you know what I mean? They done exactly what they done. Normally, Arteta's substitutions don't seem to be that effective. This game, they worked to a T. You can't knock him, you know what I mean? They worked to perfection.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and we'll get to the subs. But Mube, I don't know if you have anything before we get to the subs.
I think we didn't make a sub till 70-something minute. But I think even before that, we started to play better into the game. I don't think the sub changed the game as far as getting us a cutting edge. But I think even before that, the second half, Thomas Partey came out a different player. And once he started winning that midfield, it was over. Like ever since the second half started, he took that midfield over. And it wasn't just the sub that came on and changed the game, but he changed the midfield play. Once we started dominating that midfield, like Paul said earlier, Martinho and Neves was kind of overrunning us in midfield. Partey literally took them on by himself. He held that midfield down by himself. They pushed Granit Xhaka a little bit forward. Odegaard was forward on the right, but he literally locked that midfield down. Everything he was getting the ball off the center box. He was dropping his shoulder. He was making those running. That was happening before the subs came on. The problem was he get the ball up front. Lacazette wasn't holding the ball up. Lacazette was getting the ball. We was missing little passes here and there. I remember we had a chance. He was running in. He could have passed it to Saka. That was clear on the right-hand side, and he passed it straight to the defender. It was just little stuff like that was happening. But after halftime, we fixed the problem that we was having in the first half, which was the midfield. We was not getting overrun in midfield again. Thomas Partey just came out a different player. And he enabled the other players to do what they had to do. Yes, we didn't have the best of the games. Martinelli was a little bit lost on the left-hand side. But once we made the subs, he just enabled them to go and do what they had to do. Granit Xhaka was up there playing like, prime Mesut Ozil, doing pullbacks and flicks. And I was like, where this guy came from? Granit Xhaka. I was like, he's in the nosebleed section at this moment on the edge of the 18-yard box taking shots. I was like, where does Granit Xhaka been all along? But I think that's where we changed the game. The second half, Partey came out, and I don't think he get a lot of credit because people always look at him and say, the first thing people bring up about Thomas Partey, oh, he can't take a shot. I care less if he can take a shot or not. I don't care. I don't want him to take no shots at all. I want him to do what he does best. Eventually he will get a goal. He just scored a header the other day. Eventually one of those will go in, but I care less about those shots that he's taking. If he's dominating the midfield like he's doing, nothing got past him. He's getting the ball off the center backs. He's making those forward passes, spreading the ball. I think that's where the game changed for us. Even before the sub came onto the field, we just had them in a stifle hole in midfield, but we just didn't get that push up front until we made the substitutions.
Cool. All right. We got Daniel Day in the house.
Hi, lads. Gary, just got your message. I was out, actually. And I'm just back. How are you getting on? So, look, greetings all. How are you? How are you, Paul? How are you, John? Haven't seen you. How are you, Mobe?
Hi, Timmy, mate.
How are you getting on? Very good. Asher, it is brilliant. It's great result last night. Unbelievable, really. And like, what's his name? I don't know what you were talking about there. I just but I think Lacazette, he was poor.
We'll get to him, but what we were talking about, if you want to follow on to that, is we were just getting to just before the subs, basically from the time that first goal went in to the first sub, because that's when basically for me that was kind of a dead zone there. Not much going on that was going to hurt us or help us. So I don't know if you had any feelings at that point in the game when you were watching it.
The big feelings, like my feeling was that I actually kind of was thinking about last night. I was thinking like Tony Adams. Like Tony Adams was like Joe. He was an unbelievable player. Like he was once in a generation, and he was kind of that. And in Ireland, we was other player like Paul McGrath, and there was kind of. But I said, like Gabriel and Ben White, they maybe weren't. They weren't. It took them a while to get hold. Watchka was the best of the best. Cedric, I thought, was very good. I thought he was excellent fullback, and like Joe, he was kind of only filling in because Tomiyasu was injured, obviously. But like, so we kind of there was one. They got a great chance, maybe 47, 48 minutes, like just after, not long after half time. Who a player, that smarter guy, number 10, Podolski, whatever his name is, he took off the field, and they looked dangerous on a counter-attacking. But ultimately, we got a hold of that. Our midfield, I think Moby, let's say, got the impression was talking about there just as I logged on. They got a hold. We were able to kind of get something to build on. And then ultimately, Odegaard, Saka were creating kind of, they were the best of our forward players. But like, when you, from like that dead area that you were talking about, that I think that kind of is their game. Like, they're a counter-attacking team. They sit deep. They draw they kind of draw you up on them, create spaces. They have pace, and like even the fake substitution in the whatever 88th or 89th minutes, like who was going on and who was going off, and your man with his headgear and all this. But like that's the way they play. Like they want to infuriate you, they want to kill the momentum, they want to slow it down. And like from that point of view, I think Arsenal showed a lot more maturity. Like I remember early in the year against Liverpool, do you remember there was an incident? I think it was on Tomiyasu, but there was a question mark of an elbow. Two of them, himself and one of the Liverpool players, contested the ball, and there was an elbow went across Tomiyasu, and of course Arteta lost the rag on the sideline, and of course Klopp reacted. But the problem is, away from home, in the Kop rise up, you're giving them that you're handing over the momentum or the passion to them to just give an excuse to get going. But I feel Arteta has kind of matured himself. Like the big thing, I love Arteta. I don't, that's too strong a word, but I respect Arteta. I like what he does. I'm kind of all the coach. I think he's a coach's coach. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of see what he's trying to do. You can kind of see he's working. But I do feel he kind of goes off the deep end, or sometimes he can kind of lack that calmness that just comes with time. And like that's the thing. He's a young coach, but he's enthusiastic. He's principled, possibly to maybe to extreme levels at times. He loses a certain pragmatism, but like there's definitely that kind of element about him that he is learning, and he's learning with young players. So you have a young coach, young players, so he kind of has to be careful that he can keep that step away, kind of relax a bit to be able to see the wood from the trees. Like, so he's kind of that kind of attitude, and I felt there was a lot more of that last night. He was a bit calmer. He kept it, and like the substitutions. I know you're going on to.
Yeah.
But
we'll get to that in a second because I need to get to the chat for a little bit. But
yeah, go on. Sorry.
So I guess we
sorry,
continue on a little bit. Yeah. So I'll go to the chat and then we'll get to Paul and we'll go through the subs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the two main subs I think that came in into the game and changed things around for us. But I'll go to the chats real quick. We got Russ in there. Hello, Russ. Yeah, we are. I don't know about embarrassment, but we are looking really good. I mean, I think even if we finish top 6. The way we are playing right now, that would be fine. It wouldn't be the goal. It would be kind of underachieving a little bit, but I think we top 4 has to, well, for me anyways, would mean that everything was perfect. No injuries, no cards, everything goes for us. We don't have a congested, situation where maybe games get canceled in the future and then we're looking at, multiple games in a week. So I think that's going to have to be the case for us. What is this? Rainbows and okay. Yeah, we had a ice storm, I guess, last night over here. Everything was iced over in New Jersey here, so I got to scrape all the cars off this morning. So sounds like that's going on there as well. Yeah. So here we go. We'll go to Paul. We got that first sub, and for me, at halftime, I said to myself, you know what? After about 10, 15 minutes, if I don't see a sub, I don't know how we're going to do this, because I think the later the game goes on, the more, as you know, Wolves are going to control the way the flow of the game will go. And they did that to a T. And, the officials also were letting them get away with a lot too much for my taking anyways at that point. But at 65 minutes, when I didn't see a sub, I was like, okay, this is going to be hard for us to get into the flow of the game late and change things. But the first sub comes in and, surprise, it's Pepe. So, Paul, Pepe standing there, get ready to come in and tell me about how you're feeling and what you saw.
Well, we know Pepe's got something to really prove. And from what Arteta's been saying, that he's come back from the AFCON with the bit between his teeth. And whether or not he's had time to maybe recharge himself in a different environment, to then come back and then suddenly realise this is his last chance. This is his last chance saloon, and he's got to show, and he's got and again it's one of those. If you don't show it, then you're out, and you could end up playing for someone like Bolton or something like that. You know what I mean? That's your next move or something like that. You're falling from grace. So. Yeah, you see him come on, and you know what he can do. You know he's a tricky player, and I just think he just needs to be more direct, and he's got all the skill in the world. But if he can just actually add the directness, kind of a bit Smith Rowe like, if he uses that speed and he's got the skill on the ball to actually go past players, he'd be one hell of a player. But the trouble is he tries to overcomplicate things and just try to maybe do a couple of little step overs and a couple of little skills, and then end up being stood up by a defender and they lose the ball or gets ganged up, and then we lose the ball. But he's come on and he's played a good role, hasn't he? In all honesty, he's linked up well, and ended up playing a different role when we change systems, when we're really searching to play on there and play as kind of like a wing back, kind of in how he was and how he was kind of tracking back when they were countering. It was good to see. And when he lost the ball, there was a good fight to actually get the ball back as well, get back into position and look to try and win it back. But yeah, I've been saying it for a long time. He just needs to show that little bit of confidence, and things will start coming. And it wouldn't surprise me now if we suddenly see him come on and we see a couple of goals from him coming in the next couple of games, because it's definitely in there.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess I'll go to John now as far as, the Pepe. And like you said, the Pepe may have proved that, I think he's proved what we've all known anyways, that he can score. I think the other parts of his game that Arteta wants is probably why he doesn't play as much. But what were your thinkings? What were you thinking when you saw Pepe, and anything good that you saw at him, with him until the next sub? We'll get into that. But I think before that, do you see anything from him when he first got on the pitch?
When they first came on the pitch, I was just thinking, oh my God, here we go. You know what I mean? But give them their due. I've always thought that they have had it in them to do what they did on that night. They just don't seem to do it consistently, They're professional footballers on the top of their game. I just don't think they've been given a proper chance to prove what they can actually do consistently. Pepe, that goal was brilliant. Him and Eddie, I thought that was one of the best goals I've seen this season, to be honest. Maybe because we needed it, I don't know. And apparently he'd had a kid 24 hours before, or his wife had, so congratulations to him for that. And he's turned out and scored the goal, hasn't he? That goal, he's £72 million fee. If they get in the Champions League, they'll say, well, he's paid for that already, But he's got it in him, Pepe. To me, he just don't do it enough. I don't know what it is, if it's confidence or what, or that big transfer fee knocked his confidence back. He's definitely got it in to be a world-class player, but he just don't do it enough, does it? Has he ever been played in the right position? I'm not sure about that, Gary, if he's played in, where he come on last night, he looked fantastic, and 15 minutes, you need a goal. That's got to be a lot of pressure on it when he's come on, and he's done the job. You cannot knock him. I couldn't see Lacazette scoring either, but he did. I kept saying he will come good. He's doing a lot of stuff off the pitch what you ain't seeing, and I know he has missed a lot of chances. I will say that, but tonight or last night he done the business between the two of them. Well, the three of them, Eddie as well. I think they done really, really well.
No, definitely. I mean, like I said, this has been probably the first time that we've seen essentially all the subs, at least in this case, the two main subs that came in actually work and actually
definitely.
They actually had a plan that they could actually implement, as opposed to asking them to do something that they couldn't. So Mube. Yeah. So I guess we've talked. They've kind of talked about Pepe, and I guess we'll kind of transition into the second sub coming in, Eddie. And if you can now elaborate on both Pepe and Eddie coming in as subs as to how the game was going. And I don't know if this is what you saw, but I've heard many say that they were asked to do things differently than in the past, where they had to perform the extra tasks. We know Eddie, and Pepe going forward offensively attacking the goal, he can do that. You know, we don't see it enough, but he can do that. But the coming back on defense and working, you know, doing those other roles is something that he lacks. But what did you see, you know, from those two when they came in? Yeah.
I think the Pepe situation, he came on and looked good, but I think as a team, we really put him in that spot to shine, and it's been a while since we've seen that. And me saying that, the reason why I say that is, if you look on when he's on the field last night, he always had players around him, close by him. Odegaard was always close to him. And then you have the right back. Cedric was always overlapping. He had options either to go left or right. The problem with Pepe in the past is we always left him isolated. Whichever manager, when Emery was here, Arteta first started, every time Pepe get the ball, he was always isolated on that right-hand side of the field with two players marking him every single time. Yesterday was not the case. He had that option of playing a 1-2 pass. He had that option of going right. He had that option of passing the ball right, passing the ball left. Odegaard created that overlap on that right side of the field, and they kind of overload that area that he was in. Lacazette or Eddie was coming because they were playing as a two, and either one of them was still coming as close to him. You can see that the two goals that he scored, you can see the position that Lacazette and Eddie was in. They were helping him because he was so close to him. He had players around him where he could pass the ball. He wasn't asked to do as much as he was in the past, where he had to be the man to get in a position to take a shot. He didn't have to do that yesterday. You see what I'm saying? He could have made a 1-2 pass, and he was in on goal. The goal that he scored, he didn't have to do anything. He caught the ball with his right, turn it, and shoot it with his left. He wasn't asked to do anything else. You see what I'm saying? So we have to, at Lille, he was playing as a front two. He was playing in that kind of free role when he was playing at Lille, but he always had somebody up there with him. And I think that Odegaard last night, I don't think he's going to show up on the stat sheet either because he didn't get the assist and get the goal. But I think his position was big in making Pepe flourish when he came on last night, because he was literally playing as a right wing, a little bit on the inside, and Pepe was playing as the right wing back on the outside. But every time Pepe get the ball, he always had that option of going left, going right, or take the ball onto himself. He always had that option, and I think providing options for our wingers is something that we have to try and implement a little bit more, because it helps Smith Rowe out. I know we talk a lot about Smith Rowe and the goals that he scored, but Smith Rowe goals that he scored, some of those goals you don't score unless Tierney put in the extra work and get on the outside. Take that man with him and give him the option to come inside. The goal that he scored the other day is just like that. You know, if Tierney didn't make that overlap and run and split those two players, they would have doubled up on him and he would have lost the ball. We've seen that time and time again with Pepe. And I know it gets frustrating. We say, he held on to the ball too long. He tried to do a little bit too much, but most of the time he doesn't get the help that he was getting last night. And I think it's a tactical change that Arteta has made, and it has made us a way better team, not just last night, but you can see now we were struggling at first to create chances with him. Everyone was talking about all we do is put crosses in the box to no one. Now he made that adjustment. Odegaard is literally playing so far up the field, but to the right-hand side. He's making Saka look better. He's making Cedric look a better player, because now Cedric has that, comfort of if he goes up and make a cross and he has that cover behind him. Odegaard can step in. Partey can step over there. So I think those two players, and that's why you see Xhaka is playing so far up on the left-hand side too. He's helping out also, trying to do the same thing that Odegaard do. Not to the effect of what Odegaard can do, because Xhaka is not Odegaard, but you can see that he's helping these wingers. So I think that's one of the main things for me when Pepe came on. You can just see that he just flourished with help around him. And transition into Eddie came on. I think Eddie had a good game. We see him came on against Everton, got in those positions, got the chances to score, missed it. We've seen this time and time again. He comes on, but Arteta, he didn't put him on the left-hand side of the field this time. So we have to give him that credit too. Because every time he put him on this season, he put him at left wing for some reason. He didn't do that. He put him as a 2 up there with Lacazette and tell him to go work hard and work for the ball. And him and Lacazette actually looked good together. I think he bring out the best in Lacazette, because now, he made those 3 defenders that Wolves was just packing in the middle of the field. Now they had different players to deal with. And I think that was a big thing. But like I said earlier, none of this is possible if Thomas Partey is not holding that midfield down by himself, because he was literally playing in the middle of the field by himself. Odegaard was on the right hand side. Chaka was way on the left. There was no one in the middle of the field. He had to do that job. And that's why I said he was so important last night. But shout out to Odegaard and Chaka for creating those overloads on the outside, because that just made our wingers shine last night. And credit to the subs that came on. Eddie, too. Credit to him for coming on and setting up a goal. I think he really did well last night.
Cool. So let's go into the chats real quick. Daniel, I'll let you, or Daniel Day, or Tim, I'll let you just you can finish up on the subs. But let me go into the chat real quick. Yeah, hello, Carl has joined us. Hello, everyone. I think there's a little bit of chat going on about Milsuf Row and stuff like that. Let's see, Stumble has joined us. Pepe scores goal. Why is he on the bench? I think it's not the goals. It's all the other things that Arteta wants. Not that we want. I just assume let Pepe do what he does well because he can score. But Arteta, I think, wants more than that in my eyes. That's why he doesn't play as much as we like him to play. I hope Pepe does what he did in the last season where he kind of finished off on a run. And I don't forget how many goals he scored in that last 10 or 12 games. But he's got him in there. So we need goals. So we'll see. My plan, hopefully, is that Pepe and Milsuf Rowe and Xhaka and Martinelli kind of rotate. I mean, not necessarily they need the rest, but mentally, I think they need a little time to sit on the side and watch, and also come in and be a change of pace like Pepe and Eddie were yesterday. So that's kind of my thought there. I'm just going to go through these more chats to see. I hope ESR is not in Arteta's bin. We don't need that. Arteta does not have enough players to be putting some on the side. Not at all. So I'm not expecting it, but we'll see. They said he's just got a cold, so hopefully that's all in the North Bank. They said it's a cold, but I always feel like once you hear it's a cold, then the next thing you know, it spreads, and to some degree the performances will dip because it's more that they just can't they can't be themselves 100%. So we'll see. I don't know what this means. ESR got benched for that Mube. I don't know what he did for scoring. I don't know. I hope not.
He didn't get benched for anything. He was sick. Smith Rowe has been injured a lot this season. I don't think people even noticed that. Not that Pepe came on and score a goal is not automatic you start. We haven't been playing bad without him. We haven't looked like we haven't missed him. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I guess before the game, Tomiyasu was out. His calf is still an issue, and hopefully, with the, we have 9 days. Hopefully, we can see him actually at least put a shirt on coming in. But Tim, so we'll talk about our subs and kind of what you saw from them.
Yeah, well, Pepe, kind of came on from Martinelli, and I do want to take Mobile's point, and someone said there about him overloading, but I'd say he came on the left. If you directly replace Martinelli and he came in. And now, whenever he was playing, he always seems to score from the same side of the box. They all seem to come in from that side. But whatever about the scoring, the turn was just something divine. It was something you'd see a ballerina do. They're always talking about players that can play in the half turn. When he was playing on the 3/4 turn, he was literally spinning and shooting. It was serious football. And it was that's kind of hard to defend against, but it's also hard to execute. So in other words, you need your confidence up, you need your work rate, you need to be he came back from the African Nations Cup. Let's be honest though, the Premier League is Man City. If Man City go to the African Cup of Nations, or if they go to the Euros, they get to the latter stages of it, they possibly win it. You know what I mean? So the Premier League, day to day, it's high-end stuff. So him going away in a tournament, maybe he's probably more central to his national team. He's playing all the time. We see it with Mohamed Elneny with Egypt. He was the best player they had, in the African Cup of Nations nearly. So when he is still not featuring for Arsenal. But the thing about Pepe is that he finished well last season, Gary. I think you made reference to that there, and maybe it could be the same again this year. And you do need a squad. Really, Cedric. Tomiyasu's injury, as far as I can make out, it's the other calf. In other words, he was out with a couple of weeks with his calf in one leg, and that had kind of recovered midweek, and then the other one got injured. So in other words, Cedric is getting in there now for that. But we saw earlier in the year, I remember Tavares early in the year was having a couple of great games. I'm a big Tierney fan. I always try to get Tierney, and everyone said, I'll put Tierney back in. Anytime I was asked, I'll put Tierney back in. But at that stage, Tavares was playing so well, Tierney just couldn't get back in. Now Tierney got back in, he's held his place since. But you do need options. You need those options of training. Like ultimately, the way coaching is gone, the way the backup staff is gone, the way the analysis is gone, you need a full school. Like Arsenal, actually, I think was it Watford? One of the matches anyway. They had about two. No, I think it was the first Wolves match a couple of weeks ago, and Arsenal had two less players named that night than Wolves. Do you know what I mean? So that tell you the squad is there. There's not a whole lot of depth, but there is a lot of quality. Now there is quality. Now some of it is developing quality. Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka, obviously. Look, Odegaard has the makings of a captain. He has that little bit of. He has the work rate. Now I don't know. Sometimes I always feel people that are with fair hair, and when they start sweating, it looks more impressive. The hair just always stand up there. But he does put in the work. Like he was going up and down the field. He does, and I remember there was one stage, kind of middle of the second half. He won a ball over near the sideline, and it was a poor pass, and he was poorly set for it. So in other words, he kind of wasn't square to the ball, and I remember he kind of pirouetted out, and off he went. So he has that great ability that a lot of good footballers have, that they're able to keep possession. Give them poor quality ball, they'll keep the ball alive. It might be a backwards pass, it might be a sideways pass, but they still have possession. And Odegaard has that. He keeps the ball alive. And look, himself and Saka, they are something special. There's no doubt about it. And we were here watching the previous game when Smith Rowe got the score, and my son, of course, is fanatic for Arsenal, and he was saying Smith Rowe. I said Smith Rowe is good. Like there's no doubt Smith Rowe is good, but Saka has that little bit, whatever it is. I don't know, is it 5% or is it 0.5%? But he definitely has that little bit more magic about him. And Odegaard, I think, in himself together, they would stretch any real defense, because they're creating chances and they're working hard. And like Lacazette, I don't know what the story is, Lacazette and his contract, and is he going to renew? But Lacazette is now the on-field general for Arteta. He is that older player. He brings that sense of kind of keeping things calm. Because even we saw Gabriel, who was a brilliant player. We saw the day of the Man City match early in the year. He was outstanding. Next thing, a few things went against him. Next thing, he was sent off. So Martinelli, two bookings in one, whatever, I'd say about 20 seconds. So some of these players are still developing. So Lacazette's role, maybe he's not getting the goals as much as we'd like, but he does provide maturity. And ultimately, you'd hope that Odegaard next season would feed into that more senior role on the team, and he would provide that kind of on-field general kind of stance that you expect from you have to have someone on the field. The era of having managers roaring instructions inside the stadiums, that's that was a throwback. COVID, that worked in COVID, and actually it was probably helpful for Arteta at the time.
Yeah, no, I hear you about Erdiger. I know he's been, at least for many, have said he would be their candidate for captain of, future captain of the team. And I guess I'm still a little on the Tierney train in terms of captain for me. I mean, I think, like you said, Tavares has come in there, and Tierney for me he hasn't missed a game yet, right? Hasn't missed a game yet, really. So I think he needed a push, like a lot of players need a little push, right? And I think we've got that now. And with what Cedric is doing, Tomiyasu, same thing. We're not missing him right now. I don't want to have to depend on Cedric, but I feel like, we've got some support there. In terms of, I think you mentioned Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, and yeah, they're young, so they're going to be coming up. So we'll wait for that and see how they do. No rush there for me. I think Emile Smith-Rowe's shooting is because he had some time away from football. I mean, I think that summer away from football was good for him. Saka needs one of those. So hopefully we'll see that this next when the summer break comes and he gets some time off to kind of recharge. I think hopefully we'll see the Saka that's finishing like Emile Smith-Rowe going forward.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll get into the game a little. We'll go back to the game a little bit more. And after the first goal goes in, at that point, I think a lot of people have said this, and I was feeling it myself. Is after that first goal went in, guess what? We still got time on the clock. We still have time on the clock. We can maybe get another one. That was my initial thought when I saw the goal go in, because I was like, you know what? We've been on the door knocking. We were able to get through once. Why not another time and run out of here with all the points? So, Paul, what were you thinking? I guess we'll take it through that last 15, 20 minutes of the game, but we get the first goal. So we got at least a point coming out. That looks good. Now, here we go. Let's finish this thing strong.
Well, we knew that we were getting ahead of steam, weren't we? And the pressure was really, really telling. They couldn't play out, and every single ball that was getting cleared was just coming straight back. And yeah, Odegaard playing like an absolute beast. I think he ran. I think the stats he'd done over about 12K of running in that game. So that's immense. That's just like, it's a real good effort. But yeah, every single time we had the ball, recycling the ball, he's picking up the ball, laying off a little pass into Pepe, and even Lacazette. Again, we'll talk about Lacazette and the lack of goals, but 5 assists in the last 7 games. So there's the work that he's doing. And again, he's not scoring. That will come. But the link up and playing the two together basically meant that Lacazette wasn't up against 3 defenders, and that's where it was. It was getting crowded out. There was no space to kind of him to be able to do anything. He nearly wriggled through, didn't he? Remember, he had a nice little turn and just had a couple of little touches past, and just didn't get enough on it. But to have Nketiah there with another bit more pace as well, and that was it. And yeah, we scored the equaliser, and yeah, when that substitution came along, and then all that was going on, it was just getting fire. It was getting more and more fire. The atmosphere was just just like a steady boil. Then all of a sudden, it's now everything's kind of gone up. Everyone's getting angry. Everyone's really kind of like getting stressed, and yeah, the levels just went way up. And then yeah, the game started, and funny enough, that added time was when we scored the goal. Yeah. So thank you very much, Wolves. So yeah, but yeah, it was a nice bit of luck, a nice bit of fortune that we've probably not had for a while. I don't think we've had a real rub of the green for a long time. And where you've got Lacazette taking the shot, it's taking a little deflection off the defender, and then onto I don't know, Butterfingers, straight into the corner of the net. So it was a good goal by the keeper. So
so yeah. All right. Yeah. No. I hear what you're saying, and we bringing in Eddie meant the formation change because Cedric came out, and I guess Alex did have a question here. Is this 4-4-2 something we're going to go look at going forward? And we lost Paul I guess I'll be back in a little bit. But John, so you bring in Eddie, formation changes. We're looking good now. I think a lot of time we've always been asking about 2 up front, but the 2 up front, I think one was with Pepe, but today it was, I guess yesterday it was Eddie and Lacazette. But how did you feel about that formation and having those 2 players up there, putting pressure on the back line?
It seemed to work. It seemed to work out all right. I think it would have worked a lot better if that first goal hadn't gone in for Wolves. You know what I mean? Then obviously they had to shift their pattern of play. But yeah, I liked the formation. I thought it was good, and I think now Arteta he's got the luxury. He's got the luxury of a selection choice, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Who's he gonna play next? Tomiyasu or Cedric Oz, Emile Smith-Rowe or Martinelli, whoever. Do you know what I mean? it's a nice thing now. He's got a bit of a luxury of who he can sort of pick and choose. I'm still not overly impressed with the forward line yet. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. Maybe that could. I like to see a more central striker. I want to see Martinelli be given a game up front, but through the centre. That's me. He does sometimes, Martinelli. He's putting in a lot of effort, but he's sometimes like what Moray was saying, where Pepe, he seems to be not getting a lot of help on that wing. You know what I mean? He's doing an hell of a lot, but he don't seem to have anyone back him up. I didn't think he had the best of games yesterday, to be quite honest, but not his fault. I think that's just the way being 1-0 down didn't help him. But I was quite happy with that formation, and it's good to see that Arteta's got a plan B. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the first time I can actually see a change when the substitution has come on. Before, I just see the same old thing, which I thought, to be honest, was going to happen yesterday. But no, it was good to see Lacazette. And I know Paul just said that keeper's been given that goal. That's totally ridiculous. Lacazette scored that. He might have got the last touch on it, but Lacazette scored that goal. It's like Auber's hat-trick, that goal come off his shirt. So from now on, you just get a touch on it. It's your goal sort of thing. But I'm not sure the rules nowadays. But
I keep it in a touch, and it wasn't going in. That's the issue. So it's like I said, luck. It's like I said, luck. Keep it in a touch that to go right across the goal, and we all sitting here with our hands in our head, like how we missed that. That ball really wasn't on target.
The Saka would never have got it. If it kept the flight, Saka was going to get it at the back post.
Probably.
The defender coming across may have crossed in front of it and hit it in.
Who knows?
So
we got it.
All right, so Mube, so we're getting.
Actually went in. That's all that counts.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know we've got a couple conversations going on in the chat here. Why not sentiment? They could have been up. I think it's they could have been up, but we could have been up. We could have been drawn with them. I mean, we missed some opportunities. They missed some opportunities. I believe the VAR, the offside, that was good defense. At some point, you have to play some good defense, and you put the other team offside. And I believe we did that.
Wasn't it? Partey was really deep, wasn't he? He got caught really deep, and you saw him sprint out at the right time. Just a bit dawdled and just and not actually reacting.
So I think in that situation, that was actually good defense as opposed to VAR saving us. I mean, the rules are the rules, and we did what we're supposed to do defensively, and we didn't get punished for it. Usually, sometimes we get punished for it. So in that case, not. So Mube. So I guess we're already at an hour here, so we're gonna kind of go through. We got one more probably quick topic we'll talk about before we head out, but we'll let you guys finish up on basically that last 10-15 minutes when we have Eddie in, so things are starting to open up for us there. So go ahead, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I pretty much said, what I was impressed with in that last 10-15 minutes of the game. Like I said, we make the changes, and we didn't take any position. We didn't take Lacazette out and put Nketiah on and just trying to fit different players into the same system. We actually changed the system. Like I said, we overloaded the two wings and trust that Thomas Partey was going to take care of the midfield area, which he did, and that's why we got him. He can dominate a midfield on his own. He's that kind of player, quality player. Without him in that midfield, we don't have that quality player in the midfield that can do that on his own. He's one of the only players that we have that can do that. Xhaka cannot do it. Sambi is not ready yet to do that. El Nene definitely ain't doing it. So we don't have that player in the midfield who can take a midfield on his own and tell pretty much 6 players just go and attack. And I would stay back here by myself and spread the ball. I think that was good tactical awareness by Arteta. Like I said, he overloaded the wings because they was all clumped up in the middle because they played with those 3 center backs so close to each other. So we just overloaded the wings with the 3 players, and we just put Eddie and Lacazette in the middle. Like I said, we deserve, at the end of the day, people will say, we should have been, I see your comment say we should have been 3-1 down. We should have been 4-1 down. Well, we had 26 shot on targets. If we just take some of our chances, we could have won the game by 5-3, 6-3. We had the chances to score more goals, and that's why we always sitting here screaming for a striker. We need someone that can put the ball. Me and Alex go back and forth with this. Everybody love Lacazette. Listen, I love Lacazette too. We all do. He's a hard worker. We can all try to minimize him and say that, his role in the team is not to score goals. Miss me with that, man. No, I don't want to hear that. I know he links up the play well or whatever, but as a striker, you're going to need to score some goals. We're going to need you to score goals. You're not going to get away with a striker scoring 4 goals in this. He got that he only got 3 now because that's not his goal. But he only got 3 goals the whole season. You're not going to get away with that. I don't care how hard you work. And I made the comment when I was on here last time to Alex. If we pay $50 million for him, if that's the case, we should have kept Giroud because he was just as good as Lacazette as linking up the play as anyone that we ever had. Link-up play was Giroud thing. We used to call him the lamppost up front. Kick the ball up to him. He took it down, and he was great at link-up play and working hard for the team. We should have just kept him. We spent $50 million on Lacazette because he could have finished. He's a different player than what he is when he first came in. He's running out of contract. I don't want everybody to start giving me this mess about giving him a new contract and this and that. Listen, there's other players out there that can work hard. If you want players to run, if you want player to run around and not score a goal, we can get player for cheaper than Lacazette. We can go to Burnley and get Chris Wood to run around. Well, Chris Wood has moved now, but you can go around and get that number 10 from Burnley. He don't score a goal either, but he runs around a lot. Burnley, what his name is, the number 10 guy. He always come to the Emirates and kicking players all over the field. You can get a cheaper option than Lacazette to do that. That's not what we're paying him to do. You can get a lot of players to run around and put in tackle and jeer up the crowd. At the end of the day, you're number 9. I don't need him to be prolific. I don't need him to be prime Aubameyang when he was scoring everything that was coming to him and getting 25 goals. But those sitters that he's missing, the one that he missed in the first game against Wolves, I'm still pissed off about that. He didn't even hit the target. That's the kind of stuff that gets to me, and then people trying to, cover over that and say it's okay because he jeer up the crowd or he whatever. Those chances, we could have drawn that game against Wolves. After that chance, we went down to 10 men and it was a whole different game. Now we're holding on with 1-goal lead. We could have been holding on with a 2-goal lead. Who knows? Martinelli don't even get sent off if we was in a 2-goal position because now we're playing a different game. You have to I don't want him to. He used to be a player that could create something out of nothing. I remember that goal he scored at home against Liverpool when the ball was going out, and he literally got the ball going out of touch and just bended around the Liverpool goalkeeper and score. That's the kind of goal that he used to score for us. He's not that player anymore, but he's doing a job for us now. We have 14 games left of the season. We didn't get a striker, so I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. He's the best option that we have now. As much as I want to see Martinelli play, it's hard to see Martinelli performing the way Lacazette did last night against those defenders. It's not happening. You put Martinelli in the position that Lacazette was last night, he's getting bullied. And Martinelli's not that player. He's not going to go up against 3 center backs and put his back towards them and turn them and all that stuff. That's not Martinelli. And people that complain and say, now Smith Rowe is in the doghouse for Arteta. Listen. You can't play all these players every game. The last time me and you was on this show, we was talking about Martinelli not getting the game. We was sitting here talking about why is Martinelli not getting the game. All these players are playing. Pepe was playing. Smith Rowe was playing. Odegaard was playing. But Martinelli was sitting on the sideline. We didn't see him for weeks. And everyone was saying, Martinelli, why is he not getting the game? Now Martinelli come in the team. We take Pepe out, put him in. Now it's why Pepe not getting the game. You can't play all these players. You're not going to play all these players together. It's not going to happen.
I hear you.
People want to see Pepe, Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, Lacazette. You want to see all these players on the field. It's not going to happen. It's not going. Somebody's going to miss out. Right now, you're not going to take Lacazette out because of the players that surround him. You kind of need him in the team now, even though he's not scoring. You still kind of need that focal point with these young players around him. It's working now, so why change it? Pepe came on and do this thing. That don't mean he should just come in. Saka is the best player we have on that right wing. He's the best player that we have there. Saka on the left wing is a different player, but then you put Saka on the left wing, you put Pepe on the right wing. Now You have Smith Rowe out the team. You have Martinelli out the team. There's going to be a next bunch of fans that's complaining about that. You're not going to get everyone. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I hear you. Sorry to interrupt.
Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey ain't going nowhere. Everybody want Granit Xhaka out the team and play, one midfielder and play all these flair players up front. Not going to happen. Arteta is not going to change that. I don't like Granit Xhaka either, but he ain't going nowhere.
Let me in. No, I hear you, Mube. Yeah, you know what? I'm all for getting the players in, but I kind of feel like when we're looking to do certain things, I expect certain players to come in.
Yeah.
So when we're trying to score, I expect somebody who's going to allow us to score. And that's kind of where Martinelli coming off the bench, Pepe coming off the bench makes sense to me. And Kedia he doesn't provide scoring for me. So if we're looking for goals, Eddie isn't the one right now, but he does open things up because he does put pressure on the back line because he's got the young legs. So that's kind of what I see from him, and he does that every time he comes on. We just don't expect goals from him, or even any kind of threat like that. So
yeah, well,
I hear what you're saying, but Tim, we'll let you finish up, and then we got one last question, and we'll head out of here. But I'll let you go as far as the subs are coming in. We get our goals, and Lacazette.
Just to follow on one other thing there about Lacazette. I remember back in the Euros, Jordan Henderson was brought to the Euros because he was injured with Roy Keane, and Roy Keane knows everything about everything except about football. It seems that's something there is a major loss of understanding. He said, "Oh, why has he been brought? He shouldn't have been brought. He's injured. Is he a great man to sing song?" It was a big laugh. But ultimately, Jordan Henderson was brought for the Euros. England went to the final of the Euros. Lacazette is not the player he was when he came, but he, like Henderson, he provides a culture, he provides a latitude. Ultimately, coaches want people that kind of set a tone, create an environment, put down kind of fundamentals that they won't be beaten. And that's what he's doing. And you have to pay a lot for those type of players. Ultimately, he's not the player he was. But Eddie Nketiah is coming in. He's coming in. He's developing. He's learning from a player who has good core fundamentals, who's coming to the end of his career, who says he's probably added to his career now with strengths and characteristics that are hard to measure, but are key to any successful outfit. So that's the one thing I'd like to say. So ultimately, look, he's not scoring enough. He will be replaced. But you could just work with what you have. But he does provide a calmness and a kind of honesty around forward. Like Martinelli, don't forget, Martinelli got 2 bookings in less than a minute. Like, my God, that's fairly rash stuff. So you need someone around the place that's going to bring a bit of coolness and a bit of. And John made one brilliant point earlier about Martinelli wasn't good last night, and actually Tierney wasn't good behind him. So I'd say the right side of that Wolves team is a serious enough outfit. They broke a couple of times up the right there. Like them lads were under pressure. There wasn't the same room. There wasn't the same coming down the right for us was a much more productive channel overall in the match, I think. So that's ultimately it. So look, I would say that the subs made a big difference. I would say that they came into a team that had adopted the approach that we're going to fight to the bitter end. There was a lot of resilience there, be it Xhaka, be it Gabriel, be it whoever. Like Gabriel, remember, he made a bad mistake early on, but ultimately he's having a very, very strong season. Like he's kind of has that I will not be moved kind of attitude. So look, a good defense, a good strong central midfield. I think Partey and Xhaka were good, but ultimately the fourth, we'll say 4, I'm putting in Smith Rowe along with the other 3 lads that started last night. They are going to create chances. They work hard. They're good young players, and I think there's enough there to get a top 4. And as Arsene Wenger said one time, top 4 is like winning a cup, and that's what it is now. So that's what you think about. A very limited squad, but I'd say a young squad with a good coach, and all of them learning. There's a lot to be said for it. I put it this way: Spurs would like it, I think.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, the one thing I heard from Arteta's interview today, which I actually like to hear, is that his goal is to win major trophies. And major trophies is not top 4, which is top 4 is a milestone, right? You check it off the box as you move up the table, as you move up deep into tournaments and stuff like that. So I kind of like that idea, that thinking, because I don't think we hear that enough from him. Because I've been wanting, the goal has to be to win trophies and to win championships and and finish top of the league and top of your group and all those types of things. So it's good to hear him say that, because that's what ultimately I think we all want to hear, because we know.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
the biggest disappointment two things. There's been two big disappointments for me this year. The performance in Goodison against Everton, which was pathetic, just ridiculously bad, and our pale exit against Forest in the FA Cup. Like, I mean, Joe, that was a competition. Liverpool knocked us out of the League Cup, but Liverpool are now challenging with Man City for the title. I would to accept that, but the night against Forest was terrible. That was it. But ultimately, I still think he's a very good coach. I still think he's learning a bit on the job, and he does bring a certain, sometimes even overly principled outlook on things. But I prefer to have that than some of the alternatives when you see who's managing teams around the Premier League.
Nice. All right. So we're gonna finish. We're almost here at the end. So we're gonna let you have your last words, but also I guess we will, we'll answer this question here, which I thought was interesting on our way out of here. So Paul, we'll start with you. Any last words you have on the game, but also if we finish outside the top four, how do you view this season?
Well, as say, top four, I don't think, if we looked at it at the start, was what we were looking for, or not so much we were looking for, not what we'd actually earmarked. I don't think we were looking at improvement. 8. So I was looking top 6. I didn't think we'd be this close to the chasing pack. But through what we've done and what we've actually put out on the pitch, we've showed that we can string results together, and we've done well. So top 4 is a possibility now. If other teams want to mess around and not pick up the points, then our goal gets a little bit higher. So yeah, I still class it as an improvement. You still look at it like this now. You're seeing signs now of improvement. You're seeing signs in the squad. The squad's been trimmed massively going into the summer. There's big improvements. As I say, the big work comes in the summer with the striking department. But as I say, these next 3 games are massively important.
Definitely
for us. And if we get maximum points on these, considering United have got in the next 3 games apart from Watford on tomorrow, I think they've got Tottenham, Man City.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a lot of tough games coming up for those around us.
So there's lots and if we can get those 9 points and then they've got those games as well, we could be almost, well, I wouldn't say, I don't like to say out of sight, because it's never that way, but there's some breathing space, and we can then go into our games that we've got in hand and almost say, all right, we can afford to lose one of those games, and without it really mattering so much. But we know we can still give anyone a game at home, and the City game was testament. And we look at this form that we've just had the last 10 games, to only have lost against City in the league in a game that we should have won. It shows that there is massive improvement with this side. And top 4, top 6. Again, I just think I'm looking big picture. Yeah, it's one of those.
I had us coming in. I had us coming in when I was looking at the start of the season between 5th and 7th. I thought that would be improvement for us. So the fact that we're even thinking 4th, definitely, and even there's a slight chance of even trying to get 3rd if we have a really good run. All right, we can get there as well. We win our games in hand. We're like a point or 2 points behind Chelsea. So, and they're not necessarily consistent. So we have a chance there. So I'll move on to John. So top 4 or bust, as some say. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, top 4 definitely. We're in the ideal position now. We've got the confidence behind us, bit of consistency, games in hand. We can't be too can't do too forward thinking. Every game is a cup final now. Arteta's got to see every game as a cup final, and if we win every game, we will come third because we're beating Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? But seriously, I was thinking beginning of the season, if we get top 8, that's the result. I was so depressed with the whole situation. Looking at them now, I've seen some really, really good progress. We're far from the finished article, but the teams in the chasing pack, we are far better than them, and that includes Man United. So I'd be really disappointed if we don't come top 4. I can't see no reason why not. But like I say, we've got to take every game step by step. I just want to say one more thing, Gary. What I thought was funny, our man Zaka, he should have been sent off last night. I don't know if you see him drag that guy off, but he pushed him about 3 times. You know what I mean? Martinelli only did it twice, and he did it right in front of the ref. But I think he had a very good game last night, and credit due where credit due. You know what I mean? So, yeah, top 4, lads. If anything less is a failure, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You heard it here from Johnny. I think the officials were to some degree letting us play and letting things go, and and we got lucky. We got lucky multiple times. All right, White could have been called for a dive, and so we
Did you
got
see the
lucky on that.
foul?
Well, that ref has given us the most red cards, I believe.
Yeah, he decided. You know what?
So
He didn't
we
like
were
that.
really lucky.
Yeah, he didn't like that. He didn't like that media attention. So maybe that's why things went that way. So
White,
so move
White
a.
picked up,
So
ligaments,
move.
didn't he? On
So
20
move.
minutes. That was a
Yeah.
bad one.
I hear you. So move a top 4. Yeah. If we don't get top 4, how are you feeling? You feeling lost season, lost opportunity? What are you thinking?
No, it is going to be a missed opportunity. I would be disappointed, but I don't think it would be failure. I think it should be, giving credit to the players and Arteta that we even in this position to challenge top 4. Now we made big improvements last season. Just look on the points tally from this season and last season. We finished 8th last season. I came into the season and said, I think we'll get top 6. I always said that I think we can finish in the top 6, and the fact that we're in a battle for top 4 is credit to the players that we brought in. We brought in a lot of players. And integrated all these young players in the side, and we have this team going up against a team like Manchester United. Well, individually, far as on names, I don't think they just don't have a coach, but I think with a better manager at Manchester United, they should be challenging for the title. And the fact that we have this young squad that we have, and we're here, battling with these teams for a top 4 position. If I know we're in a position now that if we miss out on it, I would be disappointed, even after, all the runs that we've been on, all the, we just beat Wolves and all that. I'll be disappointed, but I don't think it is a failure. I think top 6, getting back into Europe, was always the goal. You have fans that didn't even expect us to finish in top 10. That when we signed the likes of Ben White and Ramsdale, and everybody think that we'll get relegated. We lost the first 3 games. And, you have the same fans now turn around and said, oh, if we don't finish top 4, it's embarrassing. Make your mind up. It doesn't work like that. But, yeah, for me, no. I think it'd be disappointed if we don't finish top 4. I think we should finish top 4. I think the position that we're in, if we don't, it'd be disappointed. But if we don't and finish top 6, I think it's still a good season for us. Get back into Europe, get some more playing time for the young kids, because they really missed that this season. We missed, even though we don't like the Europa League, we missed it this season for us with the squad that we usually have given these young players game time. We don't have that when we're not in Europe. So let's hope we can get top 4, man, and push on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Tim, yeah.
Well, I said top 4 about last November. So it's here recorded. But I also read poetry about Terry Mancini's anatomy, and you needn't take everything I say as gospel. So myself and Terry had a kind of a night with John discussing things like this earlier in the year. But at the time, Arsenal, I suppose, everyone remembers Arsenal from the kind of the 70s, 80s, 90s. They would be top 4 every year. And I think John touched on it there tonight. Arsenal should be aiming to be a top 4 club all the time. Simple as that. They're I know Chelsea now have won this world, whatever it is, they won there a couple of weeks ago, and maybe but at one stage Arsenal were football in London, and I think that's what they're heading back to. And now they're looking like they're on that momentum. But I think from their own point of view and from a kind of an attitude of just being kind of loyal to their culture and loyal to their tradition, they should be aiming that we're top four. We're better than Spurs. United are in a dip. We're better than them. We're going to take this. And simple as that. Like early in the season, you must remember there was only fourth, because everyone said it was a 3-horse race, Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool for 1, 2, and 3. And like you said, there's even a possibility of third, but now I think that would be very ambitious. But I felt early on third, fourth. Now, at that stage, I would like to just, how would I say, put the caveat that I thought Aubameyang was going to come right, I thought, so where's he now? Do you know what I mean? So I would take that. But I think top 4 is definitely achievable. And it's a realistic, how would I say, expectation for Arsenal Football Club. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna head out of here. I'm gonna say, Ashley saying thanks to everyone for tuning in for today's Crazy Gang stream. Hope you enjoyed it and give the guys a thumbs up. So give us a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I'd like to say thank you to Mube, John, Paul, and Tim for joining me today.
Thank you.
We had a
Thanks,
good
guys.
game. We got the 3 points. We are challenging, like you said, we're challenging for 4th. We should be able to hopefully finish that off and get there. Be nice to finish the season up there. Also, it would be nice to look down on our London rival, right? It's been a while since we've done that, so hopefully we can do that this season. At the least, if we don't finish top 4, that'd be really
We
good.
always look down on them, Gary.
But from the table. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of words. As you know, DWTT, and this is kind of my thing at the end of the show. Life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride, and that's kind of like how I like to end it. But as Alex likes to say, you've been listening to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you. I think we'll be a show either this weekend, I believe. If not, on Monday, Alex will be back, or his brother. So we'll see how that goes. All right, everybody. Thank you, and have a good night. Good weekend.
Yeah. Thanks.
Good
Good weekend.
Meet you again. Thanks, Gary.
Oh,
Sorry
yes.
I was away, so I just got the message late.
No problem. Thank you, and we'll see you guys. Everybody, we're checking out.